You're talking crap.
All right,
that
guys.
No one can understand. That no one
Starting
can
a video. We're going to let you in on what I think is going to happen with the market, crypto, stocks, etc. It's a Friday, driving home, great day, but a lot of market movement. The S&P is hitting new highs, every day now, in the 430s. It's wild. But let's look at the cryptos because that's what's been popping off lately. Bitcoin is hitting 43,000. People are getting excited that's about to come back. There's two options in my playbook, and there's one option that's taken large precedence, and that is called a double bubble. You heard it here first. It's called a double bubble, and it's the real shit. The double bubble is when a stock goes above its previous all-time high and then crashes right afterwards. It's already crashed once at 64,000. We dropped 50%. Now people are excited, trying to buy back in, trying to see if we can go to 100,000, 130,000. I don't think that's the case. I'm being completely honest with you. And this is where the long-term people get shorted and they lose a lot of their gains. Just in the past month, like I said, it was a 50% crash. There's a lot of people that already made a shit ton of money off of this crash, and all of those people that made money shorting are now reinvesting their money, trying to now, pump. Going back to a couple months ago, the similar scenario happened with Dogecoin. People were pumping Dogecoin all around the clock. All you heard was Doge, Doge, Doge. So don't be surprised, guys, if you start hearing the same thing back now, but with Bitcoin. The only difference between Bitcoin and Dogecoin is that Bitcoin has a fixed supply. That means that there's only a certain amount of Bitcoin that will ever be in existence. On the other hand, Dogecoin does not have that fixed supply. So this is something that's oftentimes overlooked. But at the same time, it's all about getting your percent and getting your return in your percent. If you can get more returns, in Dogecoin compared to Bitcoin, so be it. But right now, like I said, I think my outlook for the upcoming months and potentially after that is a large pump that's going to get everyone rocked on their socks on their rocks, whatever you want to call it. It's going to be wild. You thought we had a run and you thought people were excited. No, people are about to drop tons of money into this thing, and then it's going to come crashing down hard. On the flip side of it, which everyone is expecting, that's been around this space for a long time, is that we hit a crash pretty soon. And I think now that Bitcoin's becoming more exposed to a lot of people, that this theory or notion that it's going to crash sooner than later, it's becoming more accepted. We've already had the 50% drop. Typically, the past couple of years, we've had the 85% drop. Everyone's now looking for that downtrend to continue to the 85% drop. I don't think the 85% drop is going to happen as soon as we expect it, guys. I think we're going to get this thing called a double bubble. It's very unusual in markets, and I think that's what's happening. A lot of unusual action with crypto to take a lot of people's money at the end of the day. And then if you're able to stay on your game, you can actually make a lot of money on it, but you can't be buying into these emotions that the markets are playing us right now, because that's what the markets are. Remember that. It feeds on emotions, it feeds on your psychology, and it feeds on everything around you. So it's not about choosing a good stock. It's about choosing, what you can handle mentally and handle in terms of your percents, and looking at what you want in return in your percents. And this conversation that I'm having with you guys, this is big. Like, you guys think this might be little. No, this is effing big. Like, this is countries. This is very worldly views right now of other people. A lot of people that are large in the space will tell you their view on it, and it's very one-sided that, hey, they think the market's going to continue to rise. Hey, get into Bitcoin right now. Or the other hand, they've been in the space for a while, and they're also saying, no, we got to get our 85% correction before bouncing back. I'm playing the middle ground in this one, and I'm not saying the middle ground not knowing where it's going to go. My stand is that we're going to get played hitting $85,000 Bitcoin price in the next couple months, and then we're going to get shorted really hard, potentially all the way back down to $25,000 range, and then people are going to say WTF, and then it's going to string along maybe for say a year or two where that price level is still going to be low. Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I think that no one is expecting this sort of scenario to play out. I think there's definitely the value in Bitcoin, and maybe more people are starting to see that. So the price might even go above 200,000, but I don't think it's right now. And if it is, then it's going to be a wild ride. If it breaks the 100,000, 200,000, 300,000 mark, I think it's going to get really hairy real quick for all the other market sectors, in terms of large companies now dumping all of their stuff into Bitcoin, which all this is most likely eventually going to happen. You're going to start seeing, obviously, the big time players. You're going to start seeing even small time players. You're going to start seeing Target. You're going to start seeing, these mom and pop shops, Publix, Ralph's, grocery stores, these stores starting to accept it and onboarding, obviously after the big players, which have already kind of been leading the ride for a while, with Tesla and eventually Amazon. It's going to happen soon. Always, whatever you predict, kind of multiply it out, because whatever you predict, you kind of predict it sooner. So say my prediction is this happens in 10 years, this might take, say, 25 years to actually take place, which is still super quick if you talk about where we started off with paper money. I mean, that's been around for centuries now, and bartering as well. So this change of monetary use, it's happening, obviously. It's just people don't know really what to play on it, because there's also an inflation side of the dollar, and people, now struggling to pay for the same things that they were able to purchase, say 4 or 5 years ago. Then you have the government pumping in a bunch of money. Keeps going in circles. It's not going to stop. It's just going to be, with a different asset now, and at a different level of commas or, decimal places. So once again, my prediction, and I'm saying it here because this is the most unlikely, but that's what happens most of the time, is the most unlikely scenario, is that it's called a fake out. So double bubble. Research double bubbles. You won't find crap on it, because you won't find crap on double bubbles. You just won't find things about double bubbles because they're so rare, and that when they do happen, people just are flabbergasted. I mean, it's like smile and then frown, like it's a double bubble. Like people like, yeah, it's gonna happen, it's gonna pop off, which it does pop off, and that's where people put all their money in their, let it all ride, and then in a flip of a switch, it crashes double bubble, because it breaks previous all-time highs, and then people start, gaining more trust in it, which at the same time, gaining more trust, there's other people on the other side that just made a bunch of money when you gain trust. So do your research, folks, and know that you can't trust crap nowadays, because it's all a money game. Your data is getting analyzed, and it's all for money. Gang, gang.